There we go.
Uh,
Now it's better. Cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 15 of the Slams Fist Fact Podcast. Rick, how's it going today, sir?
Good man. How are you doing?
Oh, doing great. Doing great. Had some fun technical difficulties if I don't know how to use a volume button right there, but other than that, we are doing fine.
Sweet, sweet,
Difficulties
sweet.
if I don't know how to use. Perfect. Cool. Sorry. Had to make sure it was working for everyone that could hear. So, like we said, we are on episode 15, welcoming everyone in that is currently watching. Rick, what are you drinking today?
So I trying to be a little healthier, right? But I hate water. So I have me some water with some Mio in it.
How do you hate water? How do you hate water?
I hate drinking just water unless like I just got done mowing the yard or playing sports and I'm extremely thirsty. If I'm just sitting around, I can't drink just water.
Dude, I
Like it's
drink, I
terrible.
bet I drink over a gallon a day. How do you, oh,
I hate drinking just water, so I have to find stuff to flavor my water with.
dude,
Mio's my
that's,
go-to for that.
Mio's good. Amy, my wife, Amy, used to do like when we would go out when we were younger, would mix freaking vodka, water, and then she would just get Mio and mix it together, and those were her mixed drinks.
That's interesting.
It's kind of like I look at it as it's kind of like mixing Gatorade and alcohol. It's not a good combination. It tastes great, but it's gonna really mess you up.
What about you, man? What are you sipping on?
Well, I bought a case of Mickey Ultras the other day, so I'm still hitting that case because I'm trying not to drink as much as normal. So just some light Mickey Ultra. Can't drink too much though because I got to go to a movie later, and then I'll drink more.
I hear you. I hear you.
But it's good. I feel like a golfer every time I drink Michelob Ultra, if that makes sense. Because one, they sponsor everything on the PGA Tour, and it's usually what I drink on the golf course because it's a light enough beer to where I can drink 100 of them, but also it doesn't taste horrible. It's not a horrible light beer taste like how Miller Lite tastes like aluminum sometimes when you drink it. My entire family drinks Miller Lite, and I don't understand why.
You're not supposed to eat the can while you do it, bro.
No, I'm not talking. Look, sometimes you're hungry on the golf course, but like that's what the cart girl's for. But no, I don't know. A lot of people I know are huge fans of Miller Lite, and I don't get it. I don't like it. I try to make myself enjoy it, and I just can't.
Hmm,
I don't know.
interesting.
Do you like Miller Lite?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I'm one, and a lot of our close listeners that are friends of us from before. I'm not a beer snob by any imagination because I take beer for like it's a not a super tasty thing for me usually. It's just like it serves a purpose. So most beers, unless I think they're atrociously tasting, I'm cool with.
Well, Miller goes into that atrociously taste for me. I don't know. I don't
Well,
like it. It's not
each
good.
their own.
It's not good. I don't know. All my brothers love Miller Lite, and I'm just like, can we throw some like Bud Light or Mick Ultras in there, please? Literally anything besides Miller Lite, I'll drink. I'll drink it. But to that point, when I drink Miller Lite, it serves the purpose of I'm going to drink it and get drunk. That's it. I was like, I'm
Oh,
not going to enjoy this. But anyway, first
I
up
love it.
on our itinerary today, Rick, hit us with the birthdays that you have this week.
Yeah, man. So this upcoming week, Macho Man Randy Savage turns 70. 70 for the Macho Man.
Hmm.
Crazy to me. Um, Patrick Warburton, known from Seinfeld and as Kronk from Emperor's New Groove,
Yeah.
turns 58. Jimmy Kimmel turns 54 this week. That one, I was surprised by his age. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Definitely thought he was younger than that. Randy Savage is dead, though, correct?
Did he pass away?
When we were in high school, he
No.
died in 2011, bro. He's been dead for 11 years.
Why would you tell me this way?
I mean, you were super excited that it was his birthday, and I'm like, Rick, I'm positive that Randy Savage passed away. Yeah, he died. He died 11 years ago, 2011.
I can't believe this is how you would break that news to me. You're so
I
insensitive.
can't believe you didn't do your research and figure out he was dead.
Look, I don't appreciate this.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
appreciate.
I'm sorry. One of the greatest personalities of the WWE and WWF ever. But yeah,
100%.
yeah, he was awesome.
100%.
He was awesome. Love him. He's not my
Oh,
favorite one though. I'll let y'all figure out who that one is.
I'm gonna continue the list while I'm heartbroken.
Go,
Because
go
I did
for it.
honestly not realize. I guess I missed the times period where it was like common knowledge or commonly being circulated. So now it's been long enough that I just missed that. Wow. Oh my God. Gerard Butler turns 52. So for me, sticking back to the Jimmy Kimmel thing, being surprised
Hmm.
is if you were to have asked me which one was older, I would have extremely confidently said Gerard
I
Butler.
probably would have said Gerard Butler as well. Kimmel though has gotten older in the past couple years with showing a little bit more gray, especially when he grew out his beard for his night like Jimmy Kimmel Live. You can see a little bit more gray in his beard, but that doesn't really mean anything because if my beard gets any longer than this, you start seeing gray right here for me, and I'm not even 30 yet. So
Absolutely. Plus, like TV personalities all the time use hair dye just for men, whatever.
makeup, everything.
Yeah, so like it's really hard to tell sometimes, but I in my brain he's just not that old, but I guess he is. Now, I'm gonna say this next person's name, and you have to tell me who they are.
Okay.
Okay? And if you need one hint, I will give you one hint. Chad Kroger.
That is Nickelback's lead singer.
Oh my God. Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I thought I was gonna get
Yes.
you. My hint was actually gonna stump you more, and I was gonna say they're a Canadian-born singer.
I probably still would have guessed Nickelback, honestly, because I know that might be the only band from Canada that clearly I know more than one, but that's the only one that like pops out of my head of Canadian Nickelback.
Oh, very nice. So Chad Kroger turns 48 this week,
Okay.
1 year older than Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V,
Gary
as most
V.
people know him. He turns 47 this week.
Ooh, I have a Gary V book that I've read that's in my on my bookshelf across the hall.
Really?
It was
I've
really
not
is
read
really good.
I've not read anything by him. I do watch a lot of his videos and things like that. I've seen clips of some of his seminars, um, but I've not read anything by
My
him. I
favorite
think that'd
thing.
probably be a really interesting read.
It is. I'll send you the book title after this. The
So,
most interesting thing I find with Gary Vee is when he posts TikToks about them going to like yard sales and he finds stuff, barters with people, gets something for like $20 and sells it on eBay for like 400 fucking dollars.
yeah, he
Like,
is the
love it.
ultimate rip your face off at a yard sale ever. Because I don't even know if anyone before him had that mentality of let's go rip their
No, dude,
face
he has
off.
a crazy mentality. I listen. So there's like three podcasts that I listen to, right? And I like listening to. I don't listen to it religiously, but I listen to Impulsive, Logan Paul's podcast, when they have somebody that I think is very interesting on there. And I was listening to them interview Mr. Beast, and he was talking to Logan and was like, he goes, I know you know this story because you were on this call. It was like 3 a.m. and Gary Vee calls both of them and is like, yo, hop in this like Teams chat, Discord chat, whatever. And Mr. Beast said they log on and he goes, there's like 50 people in the call and they are just all multimillionaires. And Gary Vee's telling them to buy something either in crypto or the stocks or whatever. And it's like, you should buy this right now. It's going to make us a crap ton of money. I think they might have been talking about the NFTs at the time, like right before NFTs took off and made a crap ton of money. Gary Vee called all these multimillionaires, had them in one Teams chat, and Mr. Beast and Logan Paul, they're definitely not unwealthy, but they're definitely not like the most wealthy. Mr. Beast probably is. But he also says he barely makes any money because he spends so much on his YouTube videos. And he goes, yeah, we were like the poorest people in that room.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude. Gary V's cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
He's full throttle 120% of the time too.
Yes. Because he even says he doesn't do like caffeine or any stimulants because he's like, I'm already like this. He's
I,
like, can you imagine
I,
me on?
I wish I was like that. I wish I could just wake up and not have to drink 7 cups of coffee. I don't.
I just
That's
want to
bad.
know. I just think Gary would break the sound barrier if we give him a Red Bull. I just think you.
That's true.
Got a couple left on the list. Justin Gaethje, UFC MMA fighter, turns 34 this week. And Devontae Smith, wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, turns 24 this week. Happy birthday!
Hmm. Happy birthday, everyone. Good job. Good job. So
What do you got for us this week?
I have a couple fun, interesting weeks in history. They actually all took place today, except one of them. One is, since this is super long ago in history, what Rick and I are doing with the format of our podcast. Rick's going to do birthdays. I'll do this week's in history from now on, just to kind of give it a little bit more flow and kind of to show everybody in the chat or that's listening kind of like our format of what we're doing, right? So I get to choose birthdays that are super old of people that have passed away, probably not in this century, if that makes sense. So my first one is tomorrow on the 13th, Robert Louis Stevenson had a birthday. Super prominent author, poet, everything in history. Treasure Island, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I just read a couple weeks ago. So, great book. I highly recommend both of them. I've read both of them. They're amazing. Um, I'll go backwards. This week in 1966, the first space selfie was taken by Buzz Aldrin. There's a picture of him doing a spacewalk, and I don't know what camera, but he has a picture. You see him in the corner, and you see Earth in the background on a curve for all you flat earthers out there. The Earth is definitely not flat. Now, was that taken in space? 99% positive, or it was filmed or at the same time that they were filming a Space Odyssey, but who knows? But we talked about that earlier. We won't get into that again. 1933, the first ever NFL football game was played on a Sunday. In Philadelphia, it was the Eagles versus the Bears. So before 1933, sporting events played on Sunday were deemed illegal. It was illegal to play any sporting event on Sunday. What do you think the final score of that game was? 1933. Eagles Bears. So Eagles clearly a good team now, but back way in the day were also a really good team, 50s, 60s, 70s, 40s.
Yeah.
What do you think the
They had
score of that
NFC
game?
championships. They had NFC
Yeah,
championships before the NFL merger.
exactly.
I'm going to say 31-17 Eagles.
All right. The final score of that game was 3-3. It was a tie.
Nice.
3-3,
Nice.
one field goal apiece.
It was going to be that or it was going to be the other way. Like it was it was either going to be extremely low scoring or a
Or just
like
a
a
lot,
race.
right?
I was like I'm going to go high here. Ooh, 3-3.
And
I can respect the tie.
yeah,
Bears is an all-time franchise.
for sure.
They've not been great recently, but they're an all-time franchise.
For sure. They hit in our top rivals last week. The Bears did versus the
Mm-hmm.
Packers. They've been good. They were good for a long time, probably all the way up to like the mid 2000s, and they kind of went off the deep end. I mean, they played in a
Yeah.
Super Bowl in 06.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
I mean, you had Urlacher. You had a few other really strong players.
Matt Forte as
but-
their running back for a while in the early 2000s. So,
Yeah, but the last decade or so, they've really
yeah,
dropped off.
they've fallen off. Then my last thing is in 1789 today, Ben Franklin writes his famous quote of "Nothing is certain but death and taxes," which is still a very good quote for today. That's the only two things in life that are for sure: is you will pay taxes and you will eventually die.
Yeah, that's a transcendent quote right there. That'll transcend generations.
Yes. Yes. So now we go to the top 5. How we're going to do top 5s from now on is Rick or myself are going to alternate weeks, create one top 5 for y'all, and go on it. If we have a guest, we're going to do a three-way top five, which should be very interesting starting on next week. But if we have a top five from a listener, we're going to do that one instead. So this is from our good pal, Tina. Well, my good pal. Rick has no idea who this person is, but he listens to all our podcasts. He's a great dude. I work with him. He's awesome. He wants to know your top 5 second bests, which for everybody out there, second best is kind of like, I don't want to give one away because it might be in our top 5, but if it's like,
use the example we were talking earlier.
So for example, and we won't use this one in the draft then, is Google. Number 1 best search engine. Everybody goes to Google, just Google it. A second best that could be in the top 5 is Yahoo. Nobody uses Yahoo at all. So that one's taken off the table, but that is an example for a top 5 second best for y'all. Rick, I will allow you to go first on this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. For my first overall second best, PlayStation.
Okay. It's going to frustrate a lot of people because a lot of people say it's the first best, but I mean, I agree with you. I've been an Xbox guy since the original Xbox. So, okay. That wasn't even in my ones that I planned. I'm going with Android as the number 1. Android is clear second best. I don't care how many of y'all out there have an Android. I see that green text message. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I ain't texting you again. You're gonna have to do something else. Android is a top tier second best, I feel like.
Which is, it's semi-respectful in itself, right? We're talking about second best. Not saying you're last.
Yeah.
Not saying you're worthless.
Saying you're great, but you're just not the greatest. You're not the GOAT of that thing. Which is, Android's a great one. PlayStation sucks. So, what's your next one?
Keeping on the theme of you're not terrible, you're just not the best. South Carolina, the second best Carolina.
Yeah. Screw y'all. Yeah. Go North Carolina all the way. For sure.
Still got beautiful beaches. They're just not as beautiful. Yeah. Still got cool cities, just not as cool. So you're the second best Carolina.
You do have the best college in the nation, but other than that, throwing it out there.
Bias.
All right. I am going to take one that is high on my list. I'm surprised you haven't said it yet. Is the silver medal in Olympics. Top tier. You are the second greatest athlete in the world, but you're just not there yet.
That is a very good call. That is a very, very good
second place in the Olympics.
Ooh. I can't believe my brain didn't go that direction. That's pretty beautiful, actually. But I think I'm getting away with a steal now here at third. Burger King.
For burgers? I don't know about that. It's a strong competitor.
For fast food primary burger places, you have McDonald's, you have Burger King. Internationally, talk about the sales they do, the amount of people they reach.
Yeah.
Burger King's international as well.
I can see that.
Still wildly loved. It's just not first.
I respect it. It's definitely not my second choice for fast food burgers. It'd be my third, but I can respect the pick. My third, I'm going with a top tier sports drink that's second best. It's Powerade. Powerade is a little bit under Gatorade. Gatorade has set the bar since the 80s in Florida. Powerade's there. They got some good flavors, but I don't think they can ever compete with Gatorade.
Yeah, man, that's a tough one. I've gone back and forth in my life of which one I was really preferring at the moment, but I feel like the consistent overall winner is Gatorade. So that's tough.
I agree.
That's tough. I'm gonna go really obscure here, but I just want to bring this one to the table to shine some light on the situation here. Schweppes Ginger Ale.
What's first?
It's just not Canada Dry.
Canada
it's just
Dry.
not Canada Dry.
Schweppes
it's still good. It's still a good mixer, especially.
Yes.
It's just not Canada Dry.
So, I'm going to go back to technology here. Okay. And I'm talking about just cell phones. Is Samsung. I think Samsung is second tier to Apple right now.
Sir, I kind of want to throw a challenge flag out here on the play and say you're kind of double dipping on the
Okay.
Android kit.
Okay. That's cool. Android, Samsung, same thing. I'll go with a different one. Luigi.
Ooh, okay.
Luigi is second best to Mario. Always and forever. If you're player one playing a video game and it's Mario versus Luigi, ain't no player one picking Luigi. I tell you that right now. The little brother or sister that's playing with you gets Luigi every time.
See, I respect that pick more than the almost
That's
double dip.
that's fine. We'll count Android and Samsung as the same thing. I'll take Luigi with my fourth overall.
Now, you ready for how I knew this would fall in the draft?
Sure,
And I just thought it
sure.
was hilarious
I'm ready.
because I had this already ready when you started talking Miller Lite on my
You had it
second
as the second best?
I swear to God.
Oh, dude, I can't agree
Miller
with that.
Lite behind Bud Light for your very basic but wildly popular and distributed light beers. Miller Lite falls behind Bud Light, and I laughed so hard when you started talking about
When I
how much you
when I
hated
ran on
it.
when I went on the rant of Bud Light or Miller Lite. I have a couple here. One I don't want to use because it is me and I'm not second best. Um, I am going to say, oh, no, I don't know what I want to say now. I know, I know it's rough. I'm going Robin.
Ooh, classic.
Robin compared to Batman.
That's good. That's a good draft. I think top to bottom, we got some pretty good lists there.
I agree. You have one more, don't you? No, you don't.
Oh, I went first. I mean, you can six rounder if you want, but
Yeah,
I'm
no,
good.
no, I'm good. I had a couple more that were on there that we can go with some honorable mentions. Left-handers,
Yeah.
for one, second best compared to right-handed people. I didn't choose that one because I am left-handed, and I'm superior, unless it comes to cutting with scissors. Um, Apple Music compared to Spotify. I think Spotify runs the game when it comes to the music streaming service. Something that we saw was Christmas. Somebody said Christmas Eve is a number one overall pick. I think Christmas Eve is good enough to be its own competition to where it doesn't fall under the tier of Christmas. People enjoy Christmas Eve just as much as they do Christmas sometimes. My last thing that I had was the vice president. But that one's tough because the president gets to pick the vice president.
Sorta.
He picks.
Yeah.
They pick their running mate, which eventually becomes the VP. So that's why that one was a little iffy for me. And then I also put a sports one in there of Phil Mickelson. Was always, for the longest time ever, second best to Tiger Woods for years. He is my favorite golfer, hands down. I love Phil to death. But if you go, who was always kind of just right there behind Tiger at all times during the peak of golf in the early 2000s, Phil Mickelson was just, took him forever to get over that hump of winning majors compared to Tiger, who was always winning. So I could see Phil Mickelson in that draft.
That's some good honorable mentions there.
I think so.
I'm happy with our draft, but I think
what we
those
chose
those
was
are worth
solid.
a mention.
I agree. What we chose was strong. So that is our top five for today from our good friend and pal Tino. Thanks for always listening and putting in your input. He actually sent in his input through a message on TikTok. So our third form of social media that we have now, which is our Insta, our Gmail, and then our TikTok. He sent it through there, which was really cool. But Rick, what do you bring to the table with a little topic you want to talk about today, Wise?
So I want to bring up something that, like, sometimes you have stuff in life that, especially for me, I'll say, is I was a little picky or maybe a little hesitant, a little cautious.
Kind of like
So you're
how,
not
kind
sure
of
if you,
kind of like a menu. You kind of see your menu and you always default to chicken nuggets or something. Is that what you're talking about?
in a way,
Okay.
in a way.
All right.
So something you weren't sure if you were gonna like, but you tried it anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and that you ended up really loving. And so I got two examples because you got kind of like the small scale and the big scale, right?
Okay.
First one for me was chicken Alfredo. Okay, now that sounds extremely weird, probably really silly to a lot of listeners out there. Those of you that don't know or have never shared a meal with me, I'm an extremely plain eater. So I don't eat condiments really. I eat
Yeah.
barbecue sauces and hot sauces. That's
No,
it.
no
I don't
ketchup
eat
for French fries.
no, no ketchup, no mustard, no mayonnaise, no ranch dressing, none of it. Okay, not I just don't like any of it, and I don't think it's that good. I don't think it makes your food better. Hot take, I know, gonna get a lot of hate, especially over the ranch dressing. I fight with people daily on that. Um, so when I got invited over to dinner at a friend's house in high school, and we walked into the kitchen, I was like, "Mom, what are you making us? Rick's over for dinner." And she's like, chicken Alfredo. Well, I wanted to be respectful. I'm not the type of person that's gonna come over for a meal and then like not eat what you cooked. So I'm sitting here like,
Okay.
well, I'm in too deep now. And I tried it and it was amazing. To this day, one of my favorite Italian
It's
dishes,
amazing.
hands
It's
down.
phenomenal. Top tier Italian dish right there.
I
Definitely number one. That's not a red sauce Italian dish, in my opinion.
agreed.
Is
If you're
Alfredo? It can
talking
be
about
chicken or
cream
shrimp.
bases, if you're talking about cream bases, if you're talking about anything other than the red sauce, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Love chicken Alfredo, but I was super hesitant to try it. The only reason I would have tried it is because I was at someone else's house and I couldn't turn down the food.
I like it.
And the second thing is like a bigger life version, right? And so that was for me trying out whitewater for the first time. I had to do it for a job. I'd been on ocean before. I had been on rivers that like lead into the sound. So pretty flat, calm water. Yeah, there's tides. Sure, there's waves in the ocean, but they're very regular.
They're not rapids.
Correct. And so the first time I ever got on whitewater, and especially the first time I ever flipped in whitewater, pretty sobering experiences. But then I started loving it. So I actually kind of wore my little bit of a get up today, and this is what I wore when I was raft guiding. So I went from not sure about whitewater, flipping over and swallowing a lot of river water, to where I had several jobs where I was actually out guiding on whitewater. And so those are my big ones. I want to know here, what are some things from you that were stuff that you were hesitant to try but then ended up loving?
Well, one thing is funny, and my wife will laugh at me for saying this because it is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Is Taylor Swift. I for the after I listened to her first album when she first came out forever ago. Liked it because it was super country album. I love country music, right? And then after she went more poppy, I was like, F that, didn't listen to it. And now that Amy's a huge Taylor Swift fan, I've kind of gotten back into it, and I'm like, all right, this shit pops, son. That is a guilty pleasure slash something that I didn't think I would enjoy from an artist that like pretty much switched genres that
Mm-hmm.
I will listen to the fact on the 14th I'm waiting for an email to figure out if I get first dibs on Taylor Swift tickets this year for her stadium tour for next year. So that is
Can't doubt T Swizzle, son.
dude, T Swift for sure. Um, Something else that I didn't think I would enjoy that I love now. I'm trying to think. That's difficult because I mean, for everybody out there that knows me, I'm a very go with the flow type of person, so I will try everything. Like don't care what it is. If I feel like I might halfway enjoy it, I'm going to try it. But I think I'm going to go with a big one that has consumed my life. As I'll just stick with two is soccer. I for the longest time thought soccer was just not a sport in general, and now it is. I would dare say it's probably my favorite sport that I enjoy watching all the time. Like for the longest time, I was like throughout high school and stuff, people that played soccer, I was like, whatever. You don't do anything. It's not a real sport. And then I got really into it. I went to a bar for the World Cup in Wilmington, and we played Belgium. I remember this. As we, I mean the U.S. We play Belgium. We lose. It's the round of 16. Tim Howard had like 18 saves. He made the record for most saves in a World Cup. And since then, I've absolutely loved it. It was definitely a don't knock it until you try it type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like those are two things that I tried. They're more on the funny, quirky side, but I didn't think I'd like either of those things. And I love one, and one I listen to a pretty good amount.
And
So
one I listen
one I
to.
listen to. So
Yeah, no, for sure.
it's that. I have something I want to talk about, and I want to know if you think it's dangerous.
Okay.
One, I don't understand it. I've seen this trend kind of start, maybe even this year before. So I'm talking about tattoos, right? And I feel like I have a good standpoint with tattoos. I have 10, something like that, 10, 11, 9, somewhere right in there. I have an okay amount. My left arm's filled, so whatever. I can talk about it, dang it, because I have them. Um, the first trend was the white ink tattoos, which was fine. It just looks weird because white like hardly shows up on your body. So now I've been seeing this trend of UV light tattoos.
Hmm.
I don't understand it because, in all honesty, when are you going to be under a black light that much unless you're just going to like a club all the time, right?
Ravers.
Yeah. But like, how dangerous could that be? And I want to hold off for a second. Hello, Eats. How are you? Thanks for coming into the chat. Show them. Eats wants me to show the tattoos. So, Eats, I have like a whole arm of nautical tattoos. I have an octopus, the Jolly Roger. I have a bird and an anchor, a wheel. I have a boat back here, and then I have a girl. The girl was actually my first tattoo on this arm that comes from a Sailor Jerry's rum bottle. I drank that entire bottle of Sailor Jerry's and saw that, and I was like, you know what? I want that on my arm.
He eats. Ask him to show you Captain America's shield.
Bro, you know how difficult that's going to be for me to get up and show you Captain America's shield? I have Eats. I'll send it. I'll send you a picture in Discord. I have Captain America's shield tattooed on my calf, and I have it to where it looks like the shit. My skin is ripping, and show you the shield. I bet I Eats. I'm gonna
Yes.
have to cut this out of the one that goes on Apple and stuff. But let's see if I take the camera. Let's figure this out. Can I reach down here? Hello. Shit.
I think you're just gonna have to get up and do a high kick, dude.
Got a way better idea. I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Oh,
Boo,
boo.
dude. It's hard to get to. It's hard to get to. It's hard. It's difficult. And then my last one I have. I love everybody on my right arm because you should respect people and love everyone. Um, but back to what we were saying. I think I feel like if I went to my tattoo artist that has done all mine, I've had the same tattoo guy do every single one of my tattoos except one, which is the one on my right arm. He's done my shield, done all my left arms. This I don't think he would do a UV ink slash light tattoo because I feel like he would think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous. What do you think? I just want an opinion on it. So
Wow.
I saw the video. A guy gets just a line tattooed like this, closes his eye, goes down his face. Doesn't show up unless he's in black light. That has to be dangerous to put something like that inside of your skin, right?
Well, so I'm going to go ahead and preface this with saying I'm speaking from an incredibly uneducated opinion on this fact. I'm not going to pretend to be a tattoo artist. I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about UV related ink. But I want to say that, in my opinion, it wouldn't be much worse than putting ink in your skin. It's just a certain type that reflects differently and like reacts to the UV light. The one caveat I would have to it is I just feel like it's gonna fade way faster. Like I feel like think about how easily a tattoo fades, even if you take care of it properly. Um, if this is only showing up under UV light, then I imagine it's going to fade the way a tattoo will fade. Except a usual tattoo, like your ship wheel, like your octopus, that kind of stuff, the color, even if it fades from the original tattoo, we can still see it.
Yeah. So
I feel like if the ink that reacts to the UV fades too far, you're not even going to see it anymore.
right.
If
So
anything, it's just going to be blurry or blobby, in which case
so I probably haven't gotten a
this is wasted
tattoo.
money.
I probably haven't gotten a tattoo in like 6 years. I've been itching for one for a while. I've designed my whole right arm sleeve that I want to get. I'm just waiting till move back home for Zach to do it. So Eats just asked what's in the ink. So regular tattoo ink, when it comes to the pigment carriers, right, to go into your skin, has hazel, isopropyl alcohol, and water, and then whatever coloring, right? All of those are replaced, it says, with more toxic carriers like denatured alcohols, ethylene glycol, formaldehyde, and rubbing alcohol is in the UV light ones. So, one, it has to be safe because, like, not health inspectors, but somebody inspects tattoo shops. I think it might actually be a health inspector. It
You
just,
have health inspectors to make sure it's sanitary, but you also
right,
have people that license tattoo shops.
exactly. So, I just, would I get one? Maybe, but I would have to know that it's way safe, like just as safe as these, because like with all mine, I know it comes to the fact that like I could, I could get it could be infected if I don't take care of it when it's healing and all that. I understand those risks. I signed up for that by getting them. But like UV, I feel like there are more risks that come with it than just making sure you wrap it, you wash it with non-scented soap, all of that stuff. What I would get though, that I think would be really cool if I got a UV light one, is one, I'd get purple light, right? I would get an alien spaceship up here and a little person down here, and in the middle would be the UV beams beaming the person up. So when I'm normal doing my normal stuff, it just looks like a spaceship and a person. But if I'm like at a rave or at a club, like doing that, it looks like somebody's beaming them up. I think that would be really cool to get.
I was about to say, you know what I would probably lean towards if an artist told me it was reasonable? Because this would come down to the real life experience of the artist, really. But like how you already have those tattoos on your left arm, if you could find a good enough line artist that they could outline some of your existing ones without smudging them with UV ink. So you had like your pirate skull right there, or you had
So
the
like
octopus,
just the outside lines get.
the outline so it lit up
That
under
would
UV
that would be better.
without blurring the line work that's currently on it
Right,
because your
like do
tattoos
it like
are crisp.
do it like right on the outside of the black
Yes,
lines.
because you couldn't put it on the same line without it messing up your how yours currently look. So it'd have to be just on the outside
Mm-hmm.
like a border. But I think that could look really sick.
Be
But
something to look into.
my real fear is just the with the cost of tattoos is wasting the money. Like I feel like if it fades too quickly, if it becomes smudged to where it's not really what you wanted,
Hmm.
and the fact you're only going to see it half as often, if that, of your normal tattoo,
Right.
I feel like you're just kind of wasting a lot of money on a long
Well,
session.
I'm extremely happy with mine. I feel like clearly right after it heals, like 2 weeks out, that first year, they look super super colorful, and then they fade clearly. But like none of mine have faded way as much as I thought they would. Yeah, 20 years from now they will, but like I've had most of these for like 8 to 10 years now because I got my first one when I was 19. So
Mhm.
like they haven't
Well, that's
faded.
way longer than that.
That's 10 years. Thank you. 10 years. I don't think they faded. I'm not a huge fan of the UV trend that's happening with tattoos right now. And I think it's dangerous. It might not be, but to me it seems dangerous. And that's what I'm getting at there.
If you're a tattoo artist and you somehow catch wind of this podcast, we invite you to DM us, email us, and ask to come on the show so you can explain whether it's dangerous or not to Brandon.
Please, I will more than happily. I'm definitely not the most versed on tattoos, but I know enough about it how to take care of it, what colors go good, what colors fade really quickly. I know all that stuff. And yeah, like Each just said in the chat, eyeball tattoos. Absolutely crazy that people get the whites of their eyes tattooed. Do not understand that at all. But tattoos are also amazing at the same time. It is what it is. UVs
I'm
are
planning on
dangerous.
getting, I plan on getting my first one in April. Actually, I've
Ooh.
been putting it off for years. I've wanted one, and it's always like where I'm like, oh, I could use the money for this instead right now. Or
Hmm.
actually, when I was really thinking about get one, funny enough, right before I became a raft guide, and then I was like, I'm gonna be outside for 10 hours a day, right in the heat exposure on water, so it's constantly gonna be getting wet. I was like, I can't do it. So it's another thing. It's one of
Best
those
time
things.
to
I'm
get them
like,
is winter time, fall and winter time, when you're not doing as many outdoor activities.
yeah, but then the holidays are coming up. It always just seems like the money is like,
Yeah,
should I
money's a
really
big
use
thing
it
with
for
it.
this tattoo
They're
or should I
expensive.
use it for this over here?
They're
But this
expensive, but
spring,
worth it if it's something that you want.
true. And this spring, my birthday's in spring, and I really plan on getting it for my birthday.
Yeah, no, I like it. That's what I wanted to bring to the table today. But now I want to talk about sports, Rick.
Yeah.
What did you bring us to the table today with some sports takes, or
Oh,
just
same
facts?
old, same old, same old. Ohio State's 10-0. Eagles are 8-0, hoping to be 9-0 come Monday. So my teams are still undefeated. Uh, sounding like a rehearsed line at this point. Stop me if I sound like a broken record.
You can
Uh,
stop.
um, other than that, I mean, it's been a pretty crazy couple weeks with college football. Obviously, we're starting to get, to the crunch part of that season. We're getting, we're past halfway in the NFL season, but basketball's here. And so my big things are with how the basketball's looking. I want to stay away from certain topics because it'd be too long to dive into. But so I really just had two big things I wanted to say today for session,
Sure.
and they're hot takes.
Okay.
And anyone can quote me. We can go back and listen to the tape. I keep my podcast notes on my phone. My predictions are that with Vaughn, the Nets' new head coach, with KD how he's playing, and regardless of the other situation of the team, currently they are the 10th seed in the East. I think they'll finish the season at 5. And Utah is currently the first seed in the Western Conference, and I think they're going to finish at 6th.
I don't think they stay at first either.
Yeah,
I don't think they hit top three. I'll go lower than top three. I don't know if I can drop down to 6 for them, but I don't think they. I don't think they hit top three.
Look at who else is in the Western Conference that hasn't hit their stride yet. I
Golden
mean, the
State.
thing is, we're 13. Most teams are about 13-ish
Yeah.
games into their season so far out of 82. Man, there's so many teams that are still messing around with lineups that are still making sure their stars are healthy or just regular players are healthy to really get into the heat of the season. No one's worried about these first 10 games, man. I mean, those first 10 games are warm-ups, they're resting minutes, they're trying out new plays, they're testing things, testing lineups. So Utah just happens to be at number 1 right now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they have won their games. Jordan Clarkson's real threat. They have some more talent on that team, but I just don't see them really being able to keep up with Denver, who has Jamal Murray back, being able to keep up with Golden State once they start
I
clicking.
don't think they keep up with Phoenix, with Denver, with Memphis,
Correct.
Portland.
Memphis playing on fire already. The one thing I will say, there's some teams like Utah I'm pointing out that I think they started too hot. It's giving people false expectations. At least people that are buying too much into the hype. I'm happy they're off to a good start because
Mhm.
I have no hate for Utah. I have no hate for the Jazz. I just don't think that they're going to keep that up. And I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they're just going to fall to like a 6th, maybe 7th seed.
Right. They do.
But
They do have the
Memphis,
second highest PP points per game in the NBA right now.
yeah, that's great. I just don't think it means a lot right now in the games that they've actually played. You can also look at, one stat that actually I was most impressed with was in the Western Conference right now of the top 10 teams or top 8 teams, maybe I looked at.
Okay.
Phoenix has the highest field goals made and field goal percentage per game right now. Phoenix is averaging like 18 points a game off free throws. They're shooting 88% from the line, which is very key. Most other teams are in this mid to, let's just say mid 70%. So being able to shoot, 12, 13% better from the free throw line really can make or break games down the stretch.
No, I agree.
And so, but Memphis, though, I didn't want to retouch because you had mentioned Memphis. I think Memphis is an extremely dangerous team this year. I think they're going to finish in the top four as long as everyone stays healthy. Top four in the Western Conference. Ja's an amazing player. Their role players and their bench players showed last year, even without Ja, they could really play. They're that go in and do the dirty work team, grind it out, get buckets, and keep people off the boards. So I could see Memphis really finishing top four this year in the Western
I
Conference.
just want to see John Morant in a 7-game playoff series. I want to see that man just destroy people in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about someone that really has that take over a game ability and talent
Mhm.
and mindset. He can take over a game. And so I'd love to see him in a series. And I'd love to see him get a high enough seed where he doesn't have to play the first team. Like, I don't want to have to see him have to play Golden State in the first round. And
Right.
Golden State go out and Curry drop 50 and, who's going to do anything about that? But no, if you give him a real shot to make a run into the playoffs, I'd love to see what that team can do.
I agree. I love the fact that now I'm not a LeBron hater, right? I love LeBron James. I think he's one of the greatest basketball players we've ever seen ever in the history of all time. I love the fact that the Lakers are struggling though, because I hate the Lakers. It sucks that LeBron's on that team, but I despise the Lakers. They have the worst offense production in the NBA right now. They are scoring the least amount of points per game, and yeah, that is what it is. But like you said with Phoenix, I just wanted to circle back to Phoenix. Phoenix has the best defense in the league right now. They're allowing the least points per game. So just because, Phoenix has a great offense, we know, but their defense is showing up right now too, allowing opponents to score. I think it's like 105.1 points per game, which is the lowest. Pretty solid too. Phoenix will probably come out one in the West, more than likely. Again, who knows?
Maybe. I want to actually point out that I think it's because Phoenix is very well coached.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if you were to just take individual players and pick them, that they necessarily have the best six, I'll even say, defenders in the league.
Right.
But they're well coached. They definitely do their homework. I think that's a big result of also like the veteran presence in the locker room. Like Chris Paul is not gonna go out on the floor with four other guys and them not know their jobs because Chris Paul will tell you you're going to the bench.
I saw an article today that I didn't read that I want to send to you. Is people talking about how since like 2019, Devin Booker hasn't stepped up his game any more than it's already been, if that makes sense. Like he's not improving as a player.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to read that, see if it's actually interesting or it's just full of shit. Who really knows?
Yeah, I would take a look at it, and I have some opinions about that, but I think that you really just have to make sure you're looking at the whole picture. Because I don't think you can say a lot of crazy hot takes, you can put a lot of crazy stuff out there, and the thing is, there's always something that'll back you up, and there's always something that's going to contradict you. And so as long as you're keeping the big picture, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I might say I disagree with something. Because I personally, let's say, like flat out, I have no idea exactly what they're referencing, but if someone came at me cold with Devin Booker's just coasted the last few years, like he still has his game, but he's not like stepping it up, my argument would be that I disagree because defenses know who Devin Booker is now.
Exactly.
You're talking about a team that's not loaded with shooters, especially perimeter shooters, and he's that guy on the team. Ayton had stints where Ayton wasn't healthy. Chris Paul has never, I don't want to say never. Chris Paul for years has not had to be the leading scorer on his team. So who are you keying in on when you plan for a defense to play Phoenix?
Right.
You don't want Booker to shoot. You know Chris Paul is going to facilitate no matter what. Ayton, if he's playing, you worry about inside because he is long and he is athletic. Your main focus has to be how do we limit Devin Booker's shots?
Yeah.
So
how do we let him score 20 a game instead of 28?
Yeah. And so if that's what he's been facing the last 3 years is then to cut the dude some slack. I mean,
No, I agree. I agree. I like Devin Booker. I think he's great.
yeah.
But whatever. What's your other one, or was that your two hot takes of the day? Those two.
My
sports?
two hot takes, I tried to. I could talk about it all day,
I
but
know.
my two hot takes were specifically, I think Brooklyn ends up the 5th seed, and Utah drops to the 6th, possibly sliding to the 7th. Still makes the playoffs in the Western Conference. But those are my two hot takes that I can put on record because I'm interested to see
Nice.
when we come back to it.
I like it. I have one thing about basketball, and then one thing
Mm-hmm.
about soccer. One, the Heat's arena is changing names. Right? It's not going to be FTX Arena anymore. I think FTX is some sort of cryptocurrency, but they're not doing well, so it's changing, right? They're selling the name rights.
Yeah.
Guess who was the first company, I guess you could say, that put in a bid? They put in a bid for $10 million to have the name changed to their thing. What do you think it is? Now, it is not anything sports related. These people have nothing to do with sports at all, but everybody knows who they are. And they put in a $10 million bid for the company.
For Miami's.
Miami. That could honestly be a hint on its own for Miami. Some weird stuff happens in Miami.
I mean, that's true, but now you got me like think there's a lot of crazy options out there. I'm trying to pull my brain back to reasonable things.
This is not reasonable, and I think it's so outrageous that the NBA would decline it. Just kind of like how they declined the Chris Paul Lakers trade, they declined this sale.
That's don't go there. Hennessy?
Bang Bros put in a $10 million bid to have the naming rights for the Heat's arena. Now, we're not going to go into detail what Bang Bros is, but any male that's out there listening, I know you know what it is. They put in a $10 million bid to own the Miami Heat's arena and have the naming rights to it. The NBA will deny that. They will not let that happen.
Correct.
Welcome to Bang Bros Arena. Heat versus not a chance.
The only way is if they upped it to like 18 mil and said we're only going to call it BB Arena.
But it still gets our orange and black logo, though. Like, there's all kinds of shit. I think it's hilarious. Second thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to bring this up in the next probably 10 podcasts we do.
Right.
Because that's how long it lasts, is the World Cup starts next weekend.
Woo!
I am so excited. I've already
USA.
I've already taken all of my England gear that I have and hid it in the back of my closet because we are in the same group as England. So I cannot cheer for England until they come out of the group stage. Even though I love their team, but I love USA way more.
That's what I like to hear.
So, first thing is, it starts not tomorrow, Sunday, but the next Sunday starts, which is the 20th, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it starts on the 20th of November. 60 games. Sunday kicks off with Qatar versus Ecuador. Qatar always, or the host country will always start off, which is Qatar. So they play Ecuador, then a lot of games start Monday. USA plays their first game against Wales on Monday, which I think is going to be a huge stepping stone for the U.S. men's national team because we need to. Wales and England, even though the U.S. is probably a stronger team than Wales, I would say England and Wales are the two favorites to come out of the group. And USA needs to put on a good showing because in soccer, any team can beat anybody on any given day. It's who plays better for 90 minutes, not who has the better team on the roster. It's whoever plays better for 90 minutes. So are there some things that I disagree with on what the coach picked as the squad for the U.S.? 100%. There's three people that I agree that aren't there that need to be there, but that's fine. We have our squad now. We can't go on what if, ands, or buts of what if this person made it. We have to go with what we have now. We have to beat Wales first game. We play England on Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. That is the most important game in U.S. men's national soccer history. I don't care. We made it in like the 60s or something. We made it the third in the World Cup. This is the most important game that we've ever played, ever, in soccer. Not only the fact of we are going in as the giant underdogs, for the fact of England versus US, especially if we beat Wales, is that game is going to be for whoever comes out on first and not second in that pool. And we need
Yeah.
to finish first. That way we have an easier road to the final.
So there's 4 teams in the group stage, right? Though
Iran, Wales, England, USA.
Iran. Okay, I
Yes.
honestly, so what I was looking up was trying to find
Yeah.
the
And the bad thing is
our
Iran's a
group.
good team too. Are they a prominent soccer country? No, but they have solid players that play in big leagues around the world. So they're not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely think it's a respectable group, and that's even more the reason we need to come out number one.
Mm.
Also, I want to point out because I was just trying to look that up, that the ESPN app does not currently have the World Cup as a category where I can just go
Yes,
look
they
at the
do.
group stages. I just looked at it.
All right, guys, we're going to take a.
Everyone, bear with us here. ESPN app, right? And then if you go through soccer and all of it, it doesn't just say
ESPN
like
app.
World Cup.
Boom. Go to more sports. Where's soccer? It's you go more soccer cups. First one is the FIFA World Cup.
Really? So you can't just go to big soccer?
Or like top
Because
soccer now.
it's not like the biggest soccer in the world or anything. Or top soccer. Sorry, I misspoke there.
Yeah.
Top soccer. So like, the World Cup would be considered the top
Right.
of all soccer.
Right.
So you have
But
to go to okay. Okay. Now I need to favorite this so that I can easily find it again without having to search through
exactly.
73 different back doors for one of the world's largest sporting events ever for television or anything.
Right. So, other things about the World Cup. One, Qatar is paying fans to come because nobody wants to go there. Huge
Yeah, well,
political and other
they
reasons.
paid FIFA to come there too.
It's whatever. Um, World Cup tickets are cheap. If we wanted to go to a group stage game, it would cost us anywhere from $69 to $165 a person, which is
I
cheap, and
booked my flight.
which is cheaper than the tickets that we paid to watch the Dallas Cowboys Colts game later this year, which is crazy. But FIFA apparently relegates prices so that people around the world can go. The final, the World Cup final that's happening this year. Top ticket prices are only, now this is expensive, but for FIFA World Cup final are $1,600 max. That's it. They range from
Dude,
cheapest, we're about $595 to $1,600 for prime seats. Now, I'm sure if you got into suite boxes and stuff, that cost more. But if you just want to be a fan, go into the stands and see a game, $1,600 is the max price you're paying, which is
Brandon,
absolutely insane.
if I ain't even gotta hit the Powerball. If I hit like a $50,000 scratcher, you know what we're doing?
Mhm.
We're getting a plane and we're
Yeah,
gonna go watch the FIFA final.
100%. And then it comes to the U.S. in 2026, and you'll be damned if I'm not going to at least some group stage games. I already know the application process. I already know how to fill it out. I know what cities I'm picking. We're doing it. We're going.
Dude, that how much do you want to bet that the group stage tickets are almost as expensive as those cheap final tickets?
They won't be because FIFA
Really?
relegates the prices for
You think
that
the
way.
US is gonna stand for that?
Yes, 100% because it's FIFA. It's not like it's the NFL. It's not an American-owned company.
I know it's not an American owned company.
So yeah, it'll be that. Um, FIFA 23, the video game, did a simulation, and it had Argentina coming out winning, which would be crazy if Messi won, right? Then also, it's probably in pretty good standing because FIFA, the video game, has predicted every World Cup winner correct since 2010.
No way. You serious?
100%. Yeah, dead serious. So Argentina's the favorite in a lot of things. The one good thing that they're not the favorite in is they are not the number one ranked team in the world right now. That goes to Brazil, which is a good thing because the number one ranked team in the world has never won the World Cup.
Oof, the curse.
The curse. The last thing I want to say about the World Cup is one, everybody should watch it, become a fan of soccer. Two, if Messi makes the final and wins or loses, but hopefully wins, because I'm cheering hard for Messi to get a World Cup in, right? Like, I want to see him versus Ronaldo. We can see that final happen and break the internet. That would be Messi's exact 1,000th game of professional soccer, would be the World Cup final.
That'd be really sick.
There is so much storybook writing on Argentina should win this that it's crazy. That so something stupid's going to happen. They probably won't even make it out of the group stage, but they will if they win. It is the biggest storybook ending. Old Messi deserves it. Just won the Copa. Maradona passed away. FIFA 23 predicted them to win. It's Messi's 1,000th career soccer game. Everything.
If that happens, I'm sold on that we live in a simulation theory.
Yes. It's rigged. It's rigged. I love it. I'm so ready. I don't have to work during any of it at all. I'm going to watch 60 soccer games in the matter
As he
of 3
says
weeks.
quietly.
60. I'm so excited. You have no idea. But anyway, that is all that I have. Do you have anything else there?
Oh man, I'm all spent.
I am too. So, everybody, thanks for coming out. Follow us on Instagram at Slams Fist Fact. Follow us on TikTok at the same username, Slams Fist Fact. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, ideas, top fives you want to see, email us at slamsfistfact@gmail.com. Just remember, they have to be good and they have to be funny because of our friend Dalton. But other than that, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next week.